never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always.
February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done.
It looks like the streets have been talking and 50 Cent he's not holding back. The rap mogul just put Big Meech on blast, and the reason, well, let's just say it's got the internet in its chokehold. If you thought loyalty was everything in the game, this might change your mind, but what exactly did 50 say? I never fold, never told, never will. Death before the always. And is Big Me really out here breaking the code? Buckle up, because this one's about to get messy. There's one thing we know about 50 Cent, it's that he holds grudges like they're part of his brand, and when it comes to Rick Ross, that's been his number one op for years. But now Big Meech has entered the chat, and let's just say 50 is not happy. See, Meech linked up with Rick Ross, and 50 took that personally, but here's where it gets crazy. Meech is now flipping the script, claiming 50 is the real snitch. Yeah, you heard that right. So what's the truth here? Is 50 just mad that Meech is doing business with his enemy, or is there something deeper going on? This is one messy situation, so let's get into it. Alright, let's break this down. Big Meech took a picture with Rick Ross, and that was all it took for 50 Cent to lose it. Now you all know 50 doesn't play about his enemies, especially not Ross, who's been a thorn in his side for years. So when footage dropped with Meech chilling with Ross like they're besties, 50 went nuclear. February 13th, the Big Meech CH Band concert. It's going to be iconic, too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now this the first time it's ever been done, and he didn't just call Meech out, he went straight for the jugular, throwing out accusations that Meech was informed. That's when the name Tammy Cowan got thrown into the mix, and trust me, that changed everything. But before we get into Tammy Cowan's role in this mess, you got to understand exactly who we're dealing with here. If you don't know who Big Meech is, don't worry, I got you. Let's break this down real quick. Big Meech is one of the most infamous figures in hip-hop and street history. He's the founder of the Black Mafia family BMF, a massive D-tracking and M-laundering operation that started in Detroit back in 1985, and he didn't do it alone. He and his brother Southwest T built one of the most powerful crime organizations in American history. Now what made BMF different from other crews was how they mixed business with the streets. They were the first to use hip hop industry as a front to clean their money from C-sales, and they weren't just in the background, they were actively involved in the music game, promoting some of the biggest names in hip-hop at the time. They even started their own record label, but their only real artist was Blue Da Vinci. Spoiler alert, Blue never made it big, and he also ended up behind bars. BMF raked in hundreds of millions of dollars before it all came crashing down. In total, they reportedly made over $270 million before the feds shut them down. In this whole crazy story, yeah, it was so wild that 50 Cent himself decided to turn it into a TV show. Now here's where it gets even crazier. The guy playing Big Meech on the show, that's Lil Meech, Big Meech's actual son. Meanwhile, Big Meech has been locked up for almost 20 years after being convicted for running a massive criminal enterprise stretching from Atlanta to Detroit and beyond. But recently he got a serious break in his sentence, and that is where Tammy Cowan comes into play. Now when 50 says he's going to go nuclear and expose Maya's unhandled antics in a documentary, you know it's about to hit the fan. See, 50 didn't just pull that informant claim out of thin air, he came with receipts. According to him, Tammy Cowan was a key figure in getting Maya's sentence reduced, and the way 50 tells it, Meech had to do a whole lot of talking to make that happen. And you already know, in the streets, the worst that you can be labeled as is a snitch. Well, sources from all over internet are speaking on this matter, including what was in Tammy's sworn affidavit. She expressly states that Demetrius Funner, Big Meech, put her in contact with Fidel Suarez out of California and Dion Gatlin, who was Cuffy, out of St. Louis, to arrange a large sale of adding fuel to the fire. 50 Cent is doubling down on his accusations. In a separate post, he suggested that Meech's former assistant and BMF producer Tammy Cowan might have had a major hand in the OG's downfall, and it's not just speculation. 50's hinting at an upcoming T documentary that could expose the real reason the organization fell apart. The biggest mistake he ever made was not sustaining his relationship with Tammy Cowan's 50 wrote, hosting a rap meme to drive the point home. Now this wasn't just shade, this was 50 straight up implying that Tammy, who has already been accused of cooperating with the feds, played a critical role in Mech's case, and according to Vibe, things might actually be worse than we thought. While Mech has always maintained his down by law persona, reports suggest he may have engaged in third-party cooperation while in prison to personally benefit from it, and this is why his early release is raising so many eyebrows. After in over a decade behind bars, Meech managed to get a major break. His 30-year sentence was reduced, and in October 2024 he was moved to a halfway house. According to Hip Hop DX, he's expected to stay under the Bureau of Prisons' Miami Residential Reentry Management Office until January 2026. But let's be real, With the kind of allegations flying around, Mech's name is getting real messy right now, and the fallout it's already starting. The tension between 50 Cent and Big Meech is now officially affect INEC in the hip-hop scene. Reports say some artists, including Atlanta rapper Lil Baby, may have pulled out of events following the snitching allegations. If true, this could have serious consequences for Mech's comeback. The funny is they was saying that Lil Baby pulled up on them in a Ferrari truck, pockets full of money, and didn't give them nothing. 50 Y wrote Lil Baby was 5 when you got indicted, what the FEOU, but Meech wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back, basically saying 50 is just salty that he's doing business with Rick Ross. I never fold, never told, never will. Death before thee. And honestly, it's not hard to see why 50 would feel some type of way. He's been beefing with Ross for years, and now Meech is out here rubbing elbows with the opposition. Y'all going to be disappointed when Lil Baby don't show up, when Skill don't show up, when V don't show up, all these don't show up. He can't even go EU on house arrest, he can't even go. Yeah, that was never going to sit right with 50, but what really has folks talking is whether 50's claims hold any weight and if Meech really cut a deal behind the scenes. Tammy Cowens played a role, but so did 50 Cent. Reggie Wright said Meech got off lightly because 50 was backing him. 50 saw Meech as someone he fully supported, but when Meech linked up with Rick Ross, that loyalty was gone. A lot of y'all don't know who Tammy Cronin is. Tammy is the young lady that's been accused of always cooperating with the government to help Big Meech get out of his situation or lessen his situation. Cause a lot of y'all say, how come 30 years, 20 years, and do I still say any snitch? Well, cause he didn't get 50 years is how that happens, but now 50 is calling him a snitch and making sure the industry turns on him. Reggie also suggested 50 has his own snitching ties, flipping the script on him. The tables have turned, but now post that tweet asking about that, talking about he going to do a documentary on that, explaining that man how quick the tables turn. What Rick Ross isn't letting 50 Cent have the last word in the clips. Ross makes it clear Meech's loyalty is up for debate. He calls out the industry for taking things too personal, doubling down that 50's reaction is all about ego, not facts. Ross warns that tearing others down won't build you up, and reminds folks that real bosses don't crumble under pressure. Rick Ross is doing what he does best, stirring the pot. He's not just offending Meech, he's driving a wedge between him and 50 and loving every second of it like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand, you got to stop making business personal. Ross downplays the snitching allegations, making it seem like 50 is just bitter and taking things too personal. Get your money, you don't know these don't know you. If anybody going against Ricky Ross, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you, __. For the last 15 years everything touch crumble. Why you think he's positioning himself as the real boss while making sure the tension between Meech and 50 keeps growing? And let's be real, he's reaving in the chaos. Been separated myself from these broke cause they don't understand the rules to the streets. You understand, don't know, owe you nothing homie, don't owe you nothing. Y'all get money together, y'all get money, keep moving all that ext. Don't even have a relationship with your own brothers, your own mothers and fathers. How are you going to act like you're real close with? Stop all that fake hap. This feud with Ross adds another layer to the chaos. Their beef stretches back to 2008, fueled by diss tracks, legal battles, and one infamous lawsuit that cost 50 a cool $7 million. Ross took another shot last year, calling 50 broke, but if history has proven anything, it's that 50 never lets things slide, and neither is gone deal. I can't believe a stand-up dude during his time would suddenly say I don't want to be here no more. I'm become a rat now. The drama is threatening more than just egos, it's putting 50's business at risk. Word is this might be the final season of BMF, a show tied to his $150 million Stars deal. Walking away from that money would hurt most people, but 50 he plays the long game. If he